This is a Blaze Radio production.
We're covering Who's on Deck,
hitting the ice on the hockey scene,
and hosting a racing roundtable.
This is sports.
This is news.
This is everything you need to know about the future.
This is the Scoutin Session.
What is up, guys? It is time to kick off episode number 3, season 2 here on the Scoutin Session. My name is Noah Reed, alongside, as always,
Ella Wolter-Sánchez
and Jordan Talley.
It is time for another fantastic episode, and I think we should just, before we jump into everything, kind of go around. How was everybody's weekend? Anybody have any highlights?
My weekend was pretty good. I'm trying to remember what I did this weekend. Oh, I went on a retreat with my sorority, so it was nice to get out of the hot weather, and we ended up being stuck because we got a flat tire, so it took me 7 hours to get back from Prescott, but it was fun because we all got to watch the football game together on somebody's laptop.
I just kind of hung out this weekend, me and my roommates and some of our friends. We went to the ASU volleyball game on Saturday night.
Helped contribute to the largest crowd. Was that the largest crowd, or one of the largest crowds in program history?
I think they said there was like 4,000 people there. Oh, nice. Don't know about that one. They were playing GCU, so they had the GCU student section there and everything. It was a lot of fun. Calm little sweep, The Devils won that in 3 sets. But yeah, we just kind of hung out, and then we finished watching the football game at an In-N-Out afterwards. And yeah, how about you, Noah?
Yeah, I think the consensus was we all watched the football game, and I could imagine, as fans of football, generally speaking, I'm consider myself a casual. That was a darn good football game. It was, it
maybe
felt
a
like
little
a pendulum
too close
swinging
to comfort for me, but
yeah,
again, a little too close.
I feel like that's going to be the tide for ASU a lot of the time, especially now that they played TCU this week, Texas Tech like the week after. I think they do TCU and then they play Texas Tech. That's going to be a tough stretch for them, but yeah. So, I don't know. Let's hope. I don't know. Something's got to happen there if they want to win the Big 12 again. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we hope you guys all had a great time. Sports teams, hopefully your NFL teams are solid, unless you're a Bears fan out there. I feel really bad for all my fellow friends who are Bears fans.
Did they win this weekend?
I don't believe they did.
I think they did.
Did they win? I thought I saw the final score. I didn't hear a text from my friend, so I assumed they lost.
Yeah, they beat the Cowboys really, really,
Oh, they
really
did
bad.
beat the Cowboys? Okay. Sorry, I was thinking of was it the week before they got destroyed by the Lions?
No. The week before was the Vikings, and they lost to the Vikings.
They lost to the Vikings. Okay.
After having a huge lead going into halftime.
See, that goes to show you how much I know about the NFL.
And they somehow let J.J. McCarthy pull that one back for the Vikings.
The only thing I know about the NFL these days is that the Niners are 3-0 to start the year, and Cam Scatterbo should have won the Heisman.
Cam Scatterbo should have won the Heisman.
That touchdown yesterday was amazing, and his backflip. It's so crazy to see him being posted on the NFL page all the time. It's actually insane.
But at least they have someone who can run the ball and not throw interceptions more than touchdowns. Russell Wilson.
Well, I think that's enough, and we should get going. We're going to kick things off, throwing it over to Ella. What do we got with Who's on Deck this week?
Okay, so today we're going to highlight the number 1 draft pick of the 2025 MLB Draft. The MLB Draft happened over the summer in July, and the Nationals had the number 1 overall pick in the MLB Draft for the first time in 15 years. And to put it into perspective, 15 years ago is when they drafted Bryce Harper, who's a generational player who's definitely headed for the Hall of Fame. He's a 4-time Silver Slugger, 2-time MVP, 2-time Hank Aaron Award recipient, and was the Rookie of the Year in 2012, not 21, 2 years after he was drafted. So there was a lot of pressure on their next draft pick 15 years later. And funny enough, they ended up picking another 17-year-old, Eli Willitis. I feel like that's how you say his name. Anyway, Eli came from Fort Cobb-Broxton High School in Oklahoma, and he was actually projected to be the number 5 prospect going into it. But he is the youngest true prospect in his class after reclassifying. So he's supposed to be in 2026, but he's the youngest in 2025. And he said, every kid's dream is to be the number 1 overall pick. That's just something I set my standards to. It's what people say about the best pick in the draft. If you go number 1 overall, no one can go above you. I'm grateful and thankful to God to put me in this situation. He is the 3rd youngest player in history to be drafted first overall, and the youngest since Ken Griffey Jr., who's one of the best players of all time in baseball, and he was 17 years and 193 days. And then Tim Foley, who was the top pick in 1968 and was 17 years old and 180 days. Willis was 17 years and 216 days old when he was drafted. And then Bryce Harper, who I said was also 17, was 17 and 234 days. So Willis took over Bryce's spot for number 3 in the youngest players to be ever drafted first overall, which is pretty great. And the Nationals GM said Eli was the top guy on our board. It's one of those nice things where the scouts and the analysts see things exactly the same way and saw him as the best hitter in the draft, the best fielder in the draft, with just a great makeup, great work ethic, and all the intangibles. And then another quote from Eli: I want to be described as a guy that plays harder than everyone else, but at the end of the day, I want to be described as a great human being that is good to people off the field and good to teammates. He is a switch hitter with good speed and a strong arm. Last season, he hit .473 with 14 doubles, 1 triple, 8 home runs, 34 RBIs, 27 walks, 47 stolen bases, and 56 runs scored. He only struck out 4 times while having a .602 on base percentage, .912 slugging percentage, and a 1.514 OPS in 128 plate appearances. And to put his OPS into perspective, the league average for the MLB in 2025 is a 720, and he has above a 1. Normally, baseball is very stat heavy, but you normally don't see anything above, a 1. You don't normally see anything above, 900 at all. But OPS stands for on base plus slugging, and slugging is the amount of bases a player records at each at bat, but it doesn't include walks and hit by pitches. So it has to be you getting on the base by the action of you hitting the ball with the bat, not, anything that's in the pitcher's control. OPS is meant to combine how well a hitter can reach base with how well he can hit for average and for power. Like I said, the league average is 720, while 800 is considered good and 900 is excellent. Over 1 is like superstar. There's only 2 players in the MLB currently that have an over 1 OPS for the 2025 season, and that's Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. So 2, superstar players. To put his OPS into perspective, it's like insane. It's not normally something you see being over 1 or in those 800s at all. He led his high school to their 6th consecutive state title, and he was committed to the University of Oklahoma, where his father, Reggie Wiltis, who was a former MLB player and now coaches at the University of Oklahoma, and his brother Jackson play now, but obviously he went into the draft straight out of high school. He currently plays for the Fredericksburg Nationals, who are a single-A affiliate of the Nationals, and his minor league stats so far: 50 at-bats with an average of 300, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and an OPS of 757. So still above that league average and only 50 at-bats. So pretty great. I haven't really heard, I hadn't really researched him that much and heard about him that much before the draft, but definitely very interesting and lots of parallels to Bryce Harper in that sense. But yeah, pretty interesting, and that's the number 1 draft pick of the 2025 MLB class.
I just think it's funny that this is completely sidebar, but they do it in racing a lot when they do he is 18 years old and 360 days. Yep. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. Like, they did that with Max Verstappen when he won, his first race, and he was like, this is the youngest driver ever. Okay, well, he's almost 19.
You do that with Connor Zilic, with Colton Herta. It has to go down to sooner or later, we're going to come down to the hour and the minute from which they won first race and from when they got into the draft. That's pretty crazy, though. 6 state titles in a row for a high school, by the way. Shout out to them, because that's pretty hard to do.
I know.
When you have turnover on talent. So it helps when you got the number 1 overall draft pick in your lineup, but still, very, very stout things there from, what was it, Fort Cobb Broxton High School? That's $4 word right there.
Yeah, and in like their state title was like this super long, complicated name, but I just reduced it to state title. It
We'll
was
appreciate that.
secondary, I don't even know. Like, I don't, it was like 10 words, and I was like, this makes no sense. It's a state title. But yeah, no, obviously came from a pretty powerhouse of a family and a high school, but yeah, it's just insane. I can't even believe before you're 18 years old, you're the number 1 draft pick and signed to a team. It was pretty crazy when Bryce Harper did that, and that was like a really big thing. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from him. I feel like it's a lot of pressure at 17 years old, even though I think he turns 18 in December. It's a lot of pressure at 17, but we'll see what he makes of it, and it seems like he's doing good. The Nationals have not been doing great, but they just gutted their entire front office before they drafted him, so we'll see.
I would also like to point out that I personally love, I mean, we're all journalists here. We like the stories behind people. The fact that he is like, not only do I want to be a good player, I want to be a good teammate. I want to be known for helping my teammates, helping out the team, getting those team victories, more so when he can be like, I was like the greatest at this in high school. I can, like, you know?
Yeah,
So,
no, it's definitely refreshing to see. Did I talk about my story with Cooper Flagg? Okay, can I do like a really quick side note?
Yeah.
When I was at my program this summer, we were touring the facilities for the NBA Summer League, and Cooper Flagg was there, and it was like days before it had been announced that he wasn't going to play anymore. You know what I mean? You know, after just a few days.
Yeah.
And so we were all like sad that we weren't going to see him, but we were touring it before the gates opened to the public, and we were in this court, and then all of a sudden him and his trainer come out and he starts shooting hoops, and we were all just like but we were introducing ourselves to the employee of the NBA that was hosting us, and his trainer comes over and says Cooper wants everybody to leave, and we were like, what? And so long story short, we didn't get our tour or any of that because Cooper wanted to be by himself in the entire arena. So yeah, I'm pretty salty from the situation personally, because we didn't get our tour at all, and I feel like this is the least amount of media you're going to have as the first draft pick.
Especially, it's Cooper Flagg. Like, everyone knows who Cooper Flagg is.
Like, this is inevitable. I understand, like, you still need to practice and everything, but none of us were filming. None of us went up to him. We were on opposite sides of the stadium. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's refreshing to see a number 1 draft pick say they want to be a good human. And I'm not doubting he's a good human, but I'm a little salty. I'm not going to lie.
No, for sure.
-1 on Cooper Flagg there. Crazy
Literally.
Story. Can't believe you didn't share that till now over the air. That's
I completely
awesome,
forgot about that. But yeah, anyway, it is refreshing to see, especially, you know, once you get these big contracts and everything, it definitely goes. I mean, it would go to my head if I had all this money and I was the number 1 draft pick.
Well, I think we'll slide on over things to... Sorry. Let's try that again. Let's slide things on over down to Jordan for Hit the Ice. What you got this week?
All right, so this week, we're kind of getting started. The WHL season has finally started, so we are so back. And this week on Hit the Ice, I'm going to be talking about Bryce Pickford, a defenseman out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, born April 2nd, 2006. So he does have me by a little bit over a month. The 19-year-old two-way defenseman is stepping into a major new role this year, as he has been named the newest captain of the Medicine Hat Tigers. As we are familiar here, we are very familiar with the Medicine Hat Tigers. And Medicine Hat just started their season with a 5-2 victory over the Regina Pats, where Pickford logged 3 points, with 2 of those points being Tiger goals. The 2025-2026 season is Pickford's 4th season in the WHL and 2nd season with the Tigers. He was actually traded to the Tigers during the offseason before the 2024 season after spending his first 2 years in the major juniors with the Seattle Thunderbirds. And he didn't really break out until last year, when he truly got to be utilized by Medicine Hat, and he was very, very successful there. Pickford appeared in 48 games for Medicine Hat, almost having a point-per-game year with 20 goals and 27 assists for 47 points. So just one shy. I'm not quite making that a point per game. and he showed up big in the playoffs, logging more than a point per game with 13 goals and 11 assists for 24 points in, I think it was 18 games played. Yeah, in 18 games. So he's been really, really, really good for Medicine Hat, especially in that last year's heavy offense with, he was playing with Gavin McKenna. He was playing with these high-quality WHL players, future NHLers, current now professional hockey players. And I just think it's really awesome to see them give him this opportunity to step in at captain, because this is only his second year with the team after he was automatically given the A last season as well. So I think that goes to show his character quite a bit. And also, as a Thunderbirds fan, I will say, when this trade was announced like 2 years ago, I was like, darn, because he was a great guy for physicality. He's a very physical dude. Now, I don't know how tall he was, because they're still kids and they're growing, which is like absolutely crazy to me because they're playing like professional caliber hockey, but he's 6'1" now, and he's a very like physical player. He was kind of underwhelming with the Thunderbirds. I don't think he was given that opportunity to actually play to his fullest potential with them. In his 2 years, he only recorded 35 points, that in like a whole 2 season and some change, and that was him almost appearing in every single game that season. He played 54 games his first full season, and then 65 his second, which is quite a lot, but he logged a lot of penalty minutes, so he was a big enforcement kind of guy. He was the 81st overall pick by the Montreal Canadiens in the 2025 NHL entry draft. So, again, one of those guys that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. He was a part of that WHL championship Thunderbirds team, but he wasn't getting that much play time then. And Elite Prospects 2025 NHL Draft Guide depicts Pickford as an all-around defenseman with goal-scoring capabilities. He proactively fills gaps in the defensive zone coverage, many of which he creates with give and goes, using the weak side, middle, and lateral spaces. He's constantly open for one-timers and especially walk-in wristers when a pass comes near him. He gets in motion, catches it straight to the shooting pocket, and conceals his release. Another thing, too, is that I feel like you don't see a lot of super good goal-scoring offensive defensemen, if that makes any sense. There's a couple of them in the NHL off the top of my head that are really good. You have people like Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, both, now highly into their like professional leagues. But yeah, I'm really happy for him because I don't think he was playing to his full potential when he was with the Thunderbirds, as much as that hurts me to say. But, yeah, that's Bryce, and he's got a good season ahead of him, especially.
Well, when you said earlier that we've definitely got to know the Medicine Hat Tigers, I would say we have definitely got to know the Medicine Hat Tigers, which, honestly, shout out to all of these teams, like, in the league. They have really cool names. Like, I'm thinking like the Edmonton Oilers, like the Seattle Thunderbirds. Hockey teams just sound like tough and gritty. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like that's kind of missing in sports today. Like you have some teams that obviously like migrate so it doesn't make sense, and some have like adapted that, but it's like hockey just has that element of cool, which I feel like is in his name too. Like Pickford is tough.
Yeah.
The Utah Hockey Club.
They're in the Mammoth now.
Yeah, I still think it's weird.
You don't like the Mammoth?
I don't like the Mammoths. I don't like any of the... I didn't like the... What was the other one? The Blizzards, what was it?
Like Yeti.
The Yetis, the Blizzards, the Utah Hockey Club, the Mammoths. I did not like any of the options, personally. I feel like, okay, yes, it's like old Utah, but I feel like it doesn't give now Utah, and I feel like it doesn't give tough, personally, IMO. I'm just salty that they left.
Ooh, hot takes from Ella.
I'm salty that they left too. Trust, don't even. I just, I like the Utah. I like their colors. I think their jerseys are really, really, really cool. I think their logo is really cool. I don't think Mammoth is a horrible name. I kind of like the Yeti. I thought that would have been cool. No. But
Ella's shaking her
I
head.
felt like the Coyotes and their jerseys were like some of the best.
Oh, they were so cool.
So good. Like I feel like they were some of the best jerseys like overall.
And that's even after they went back from their old Coyotes jersey to the catch and all that they used with the
Mm-hmm.
they
were good.
I agree. So
because I feel like, I mean, the D-backs are good, but I feel like I like the throwback. I mean, now I'm just talking about Arizona sports. I don't like the D-backs jerseys now as much as I used to like them, and I don't like the Cardinals. I understand that they migrated, but it just doesn't give Arizona. I don't like the
Cardinals
dirt jerseys either.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys saw those.
No, the new Rivals stuff. I didn't like the Seahawks ones either when they were
I don't
announced.
like the
I don't
dirt
like
covered
any of them. No, you're right.
Anyway, sorry to get off.
Hey, we like to get off the rails here on the Scoutin Session. If we got nothing left to say on Pickford, let's hit the ignition switch and fire up the racing roundtable. This week, we're going to talk about Madelyn Tabor. Madelyn's a third-generation driver, now in rally car racing. She's from the Pacific Northwest, guys. I desperately tried to find out where the heck she was from. Couldn't do it, so most recently around the Salem, Oregon area for school. Okay. Despite growing up surrounded by motorsport, she actually never envisioned herself becoming a driver. Found that really interesting as I was doing research because she had an aunt, a grandma, her father, and brother are all in racing. And I feel like when that's kind of your environment, you kind of want to race. But it wasn't until she was 12 and her younger brother Henry started running quarter midgets that it actually caught and piqued her interest. Though she was admittedly weary to race, Madelyn decided to give it a try and kind of follow that family's trail they'd set after aging out of quarter midget rankings. She began working for her aunt and grandma, who had built a turbo Subaru WRX for competition, and she actually began to learn the mechanics of stick shift in driving. And part of her development through the ranks was through the Dirtfish Rally School and their Women in Motorsport Summit, which is really cool because it brings together motorsport stars from the female side and elevates the community, both the youth, both the current and the past. I think that's really cool and love to see that, especially within rally racing, because I was actually not super duper familiar with rally racing. My first experience with rally racing, this is going to sound so dumb, was my friend had an extra Xbox, and so he would always be gaming on the PC, and I would hit up on the Xbox. And I didn't like playing, I don't even know, but we would just get bored of the same game cycle. So I remember going onto the Xbox store and just finding a racing game. I ended up playing Dirt 4, just this rally dirt game where you are just driving cross country, and it's honestly this is a pretty sick game. So I would love to learn more about rally. So I'm glad we get to feature that today. Now back to Madelyn, now 23. A year removed from actually being one of 15 women selected to not only travel to Poland for the WRC Beyond Rally, a women's program, she also was the only U.S. representative in Poland. Pretty cool stat. Wow. Now she regularly races on the American Rally Association stage, or ARA. She's wrapped up time at Willamette University after completing a degree in cinema studies. She's also, just got a little background I want to provide on the Tabor racing team. The Tabor family is a grassroots motorsports team located, as mentioned, in the Pacific Northwest. They've been competing in the ARA since 1998, now boasting 7 cars spanning 3 different generations. Recently, Madelyn and her co-driver, Sophie McKee, secured a third-place finish in the 2024 National LN4 class at the ARA. But one of the biggest achievements for Madelyn was claiming a third-place finish in the 2025 Southern Ohio Forest Rally back in June, good enough for top 10 in the national results. Shared the podium with the likes of Travis Pastrana, who is no slouch in the racing world. Just weeks later, she actually made her first road course start in the Porsche Cup car. Those cars sound so good, by the way. My goodness. At the historic Virginia International Raceway. Her latest event was the Team O'Neill Over Mountain Rally, Tennessee, traversing 631.10 kilometers with McKee as her teammate. It was a 2-day event featuring, according to the site, some of the most technically challenging course in the United States. Tabor and McKee finished third in their class. So yeah, that is Madelyn Tabor. What are your guys' thoughts?
I feel like you always find the most interesting stories, not just interesting people, but interesting stories. And I really like the part about her learning the mechanics of stick shift driving with her aunt and her grandma. I think that's really cool when people take the time to not, obviously master driving itself, but, learn, I guess, not the behind the scenes, but you get what I'm saying, like learn how it works. And I feel like that just makes you so much more talented and so much more of a, oh my God, my words are slipping. Like it makes you more like a dangerous. That's what I was looking for. Because you understand like your car in and out. And so I feel like that's really cool. And yeah, just a really cool story yet again.
Yeah, I think it's awesome every time you highlight, especially women in motorsports, because I cannot think of, I feel like a lot of sports that we talk about, they have like a women's league or like a specific division for women, whereas in motorsport, it's almost little to none, right? When it comes to at least professional at the like huge level, like there's no, like, I can only name one woman who's raced in NASCAR, and that's Danica Patrick.
You'd be so surprised for how many
No, I know,
are actually or have raced in the past. Sorry, keep going.
But that's what I'm just saying, like highlighting women in motorsport. Not only is this another woman in motorsport, but a woman who was taught by other women in motorsport. You said her grandma, her aunt, stuff like that. I think that's really, really, really cool. And I like hearing these stories, so.
Yeah, I love finding them. Unfortunately, I'll let you guys in a little behind the scenes stage. I had a list where I kind of just went around. I picked a day and I just searched on Instagram, going through like different followings and just kind of going down the rabbit hole of like, okay, who's randomly gonna appear in my feed and what is a little bit about them? Do they have a spark that would be good enough, to feature on this show? And so Madelyn was actually the last driver I added to the list from 2025 because I didn't know, with guests and stuff, how things were going to line up. And so, yeah, I'm going to have to go in and do a research day and find out who's next. I actually did find a few over this past week, so I can tell you the show is going to be gearing up. We're running out of time here. Any closing thoughts as we get ready to close out episode number 3?
I just have a question.
Yeah,
We've learned about Bandolero racing, stock car racing, all these different kinds of racing. Is quarter midgets just like a type of racing or like a league for her age group?
So it depends on your region, but quarter midget racing, it's kind of like it's go-karts kind of with a roll cage and really, really tiny wheels. So they look kind of goofy, but they are very, very cool. Unfortunately, in the region I'm from in California, the quarter midget, like, they don't really race. They have more of like, they do showcase events, but it's a pretty cool series. These things are fast too. Like they get up and go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any closing thoughts, but pretty cool. And yeah, no, as somebody that has no idea anything about racing, every time I'm like completely like blown away by all of the different, just the cars alone and like the different types of races and everything. It's like I learn stuff every single time.
Well, yeah, it's like I was asking Elle about baseball stats last week. I was like, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, we got to know all about the OPS today.
Like there's like, what did I ask you? Oh, I asked you about ERA last week. I was like, I'm seeing this. I don't know what it means though, but yeah, like because there's so many different kinds. I would have no idea how many different kinds of different kinds of racing there is but yeah.
Yeah, we're all learning. That's gonna do it for today. Thank you again for joining us for another amazing episode of the Scoutin Session, alongside
Hello, Wolter-Sánchez
and Jordan Talley.
My name is Noah Reed. We will see you all next time.